Hello everyone, I have come back to explain the set 1 question paper of 2025 to 26. In the previous video, I gave the accurate answers of set 1 social science question paper 2025 to 2026. I gave the accurate answers of only set A as well as set B. Now I'm going to give the accurate and precise answers of set C. In this video, I'm going to explain the answers of set C. Stay tuned, listen to me carefully. See, whenever you're attempting the answers of set C, you have to make sure that you write 3 points. Since these questions are for 3 marks, 3 points are enough. You don't have to write more than 3 points. If the question is asked for 2 marks, then 2 points are enough. If the question is asked for 3 marks, then 3 points are suffice. Shall we start? Section C. These are short type answer questions. As I told you, please don't forget to write the question number when you are attempting your examination. Your answers should be precise, crisp, and to the point. Make sure that you don't beat around the bushes. You should be very specific of what you're writing. Shall we commence discussing the question paper? Okay. So this is section C of previous year's question paper, that is 2025 to 2026. This is the 25th question. Tribal peasants interpreted the message of Mahatma Gandhi and the idea of Swaraj in yet another way. Explain the statement in the context of non-cooperation movement. I'll be explaining the answer very clearly. So the answer is like this. Let me repeat the question. The tribal peasants, the tribals misunderstood the message of Mahatma Gandhi about the idea of Swaraj in a different way. The tribals had misunderstood the message of Mahatma Gandhi with regard to Swaraj. How can you explain that in context of the non-cooperation movement? You can see clearly that it is a question of history. As I told you, whenever there is a question of 3 marks, 3 points are more than enough. Let me explain the answer. The tribal peasants misunderstood Gandhi's message according to their needs or convenience. They believed that Swaraj meant freedom from the control of the British and the forest officials. So, according to the tribals, Swaraj meant freedom or liberty from the British rule or the forest officials. They wanted the right to use forests freely for grazing cattle, collecting forest produce, and practicing shifting cultivation. So they wanted the forest for the purpose of grazing cattle, collecting forest, producing and practicing shifting cultivation. In most of the places, the tribal people protested against the British. They went against the British forest laws and they joined the non-cooperation movement, hoping that their hard times will come to an end. However, it did not happen. So this is the answer. You'll write the answer like this. They wanted the forest for the purpose of grazing, collecting produce, and practicing shifting cultivation. I'll highlight the key points. It's better if I highlight the key points, you will have a better idea. Okay, so I can highlight it like this if it is convenient for you. Okay, then I can use some other color to highlight the points. Let me see which color I can use. Okay, now the next point is, in many places the tribal people protested against the forest laws. So many tribal people protested against the forest laws. See, whenever you are learning an answer, you have to highlight the key points. And then they joined the non-cooperation movement, hoping that their hard times will come to an end. Okay, so I have, and they truly believed that the meaning of Swaraj was freedom from the British rule. That is a very important point. You can mention that in the beginning itself. Okay, and they wanted freedom from the British rule as well as forest officials. Can I move on to the next question? This is the 26th question. Read the story of Rinjha and answer the question that follows. The story of Rinjha. Rinjha lived with her family in a small village at the outskirts of Dipu in Assam. She enjoys watching her family members clearing, slashing, and burning a patch of land for cultivation. She often helps them in irrigating the fields with water running through a bamboo canal from the nearby spring. She loves the surroundings and wanted to stay here as long as she can. But this little girl has no idea about the declining fertility of the soil, and her family's search for a fresh patch of land in the next season. This is the question. So I think a small passage has been given. After reading the passage thoroughly, you are supposed to answer the question underneath. What type of farming is Rinja's family doing? Describe any two of its characteristics. So you have to describe specifically the kind of farming which Rinja's family is carrying out and describe any two of its characteristics. So when you are describing, so you can say that Rinja's family is into shifting cultivation, which is also known as juming. The characteristics are like this. You will get one mark for writing the type of uh, farming and 2 marks for explaining the characteristics. So a patch of forest is cleared by cutting and burning trees, and crops are grown for a few years. So you can say the patch of forest, a patch of forest is cleared. Okay, a patch of forest is cleared by cutting and burning trees, and crops are grown for a few years. So a patch of forest is cleared by cutting down the trees or by burning the trees, and then different crops are grown for a few years. When the soil loses its fertility, farmers move to a new piece of land. When the soil loses its fertility, the farmers shift to a new piece of land and leave the old one to recover. So, it is usually practiced in the hilly areas of northeastern part of India. Shall we move on to the next one? This is with regard to economics. Shall we move on? There will be questions in Hindi. Let's do the questions that are given in English. This is the 27th question. The democratic system of government is considered good in which maximum number of citizens are made stakeholders in political power. Explain the statement with suitable arguments. This is a question with regard to civics. You are ought to write the answer like this. The democratic system of government is very good. It is an ideal system of government in which maximum number of citizens are stakeholders in political power. So, a good democratic government makes sure or ensures that all the citizens have equal participation in political power, or possible they can possibly participate in political power. For example, in universal adult franchise, every citizen who is above the age of 18 has the right to vote regardless of caste, religion, gender, or wealth, and there should be free and fair elections. All the citizens elect their representatives and change the government through elections. So, elections should be free and fair. All the citizens can choose their leaders or representatives, and they have the liberty to change the government through elections only. And then comes decentralization of power. The local self government, the panchayats or municipalities, allow the people to participate directly in decision making. So, the local self government, the people of municipal and panchayat allow the people to participate directly in decision making. Let's move on to the 28th question. The 28th question is also with regard to civics. Explain the importance of political parties in democracy. So, how can you explain the importance of political parties in democracy? Political parties play a very vital role in democracy. Political parties are very significant in a democracy. So, first point, they contest elections and give voters different choices. So, the political parties will take part in elections and they give reasonable choices to the voters. They form and run the government by implementing policies and programs. So they run the government by implementing policies of the government. They represent people's interest and act as link between the government and citizens. They represent the interest of people and act as link between the government as well as citizens. Okay, now this question has a choice. Let me explain the B part of this question. Why did there is an option between A part as well as the B part? It's up to you to decide which one you want to attempt. There will be some options in the question paper. You have to see the options carefully and attempt the question which you are well versed with. The next one is, why did India adopt the multi-party system? Explain with suitable arguments. Why did India adopt the multi-party system? What could be the reason? Okay, so this is the answer. India is a large and diverse country with different religions and cultures. India is a huge country where you can find distinct languages, religions, cultures, and whatnot. Various political parties represent the interest of different regions, communities, and groups. So this means there are various political parties that show the interest of various regions, communities. Different political parties have their own ideologies. They show their own communities and groups. A multi-party system gives voters more choice. So when there are so many parties, these parties can give choices to the voters. They can strengthen democracy. They can make the democracy really strong or powerful. This is the last question of section C. Let me discuss this. Explain the difference between public and private sector of Indian economy with example. What could be the answer for this one? You have to explain the public and private sector of Indian economy. This is a question with regard to civics. Listen to me carefully. So, it is owned and controlled by the government. So, the public sector, this is a public sector. The public sector is owned and controlled by the government. Number one point. The private sector is owned and controlled by individuals or companies. The public sector is owned and controlled by the government. Very important point. And the private sector is controlled and owned by the individuals. Let me just highlight this point very well. Yeah, it will be easy. And the private sector is controlled and owned by the individuals and companies. If you highlight the points while learning, it will be easy for you to register the key points. Whenever you are learning social science, I request you to highlight or underline the key points. If the key points are registered in your mind, you will be able to write the answers very well. It will be helpful for you to recollect the answers. So, the main aim of public sector is public welfare, and the main aim of private sector is earning profit. So the public sector wants the welfare of the people and the private sector wants to earn profit. So public sector is owned by the government and the private sector is owned by the individuals or companies. For the examples of public sector are Indian Railways, SBI, BHEL, Indian Railways, SBI and BHEL, and the examples of private sector are Reliance Industries, Tata Motors and Infosys. I hope I have explained all the questions from 25 to 26 clearly. In the next video, I'll be explaining section D of previous year's question paper 2025 to 26. That is set A. That's all for now. Let me meet you all in the next video. If you have any doubts, then please ask the doubts without any hesitation. I'm always there to help you out. Thank you so much.